Welcome back. Time for more Stanley Parable. To be honest with you, I don't know how much more Stanley Parable there is. I guess we'll have to find a new area today, because I feel like I visited
the story of a man named
all of the areas that are kind of obviously presented to you.
all of his
So I don't know what to do today.
gone. What could it mean?
I do have at
Stanley
least 2
decided to go to
Stanleys
the
to find
meeting
those, so
Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
I know for a fact that we gotta find those. Maybe I'll wait in the broom closet today.
When Stanley came to a set of 2
I
open
haven't
doors,
done this in a
this
while.
was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley
Let's
knew
do
it
this.
perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Maybe I do.
Ah, yes, truly a room worth admiring.
Ooh.
It had really been worth the detour after all, just to spend a few moments, but eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Where does this go again? That went somewhere. Maintenance. Where did this go? Do I want to find out again? Do I want to go this way again? I feel like this went somewhere weird. Think that started the confusion ending? Here, let's find
And
out.
so he detoured through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door, and got back on
Oh,
track.
interesting. Oh, right. That just goes out this way. Can I loop around again, though? Or no? Huh. I could also start again. We might have to restart a bunch this episode, actually. Because I think if I'm trying to find new stuff, I'm gonna need to...
Stanley stepped into the broom closet, but there was nothing here. So
Yeah,
he
I'm gonna
turned
need to
around and got back on track.
do the opening section quite a few times. We'll wait for one more line of dialogue. It's been a while.
There was nothing here. No choice to make, no path to follow, just an empty broom.
I bet there is
Coming to a
something there.
staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's
I went
office.
this way the last time. This doesn't go anywhere. This is the...
But Stanley just couldn't do it.
This is like the time loop
Considered
part,
the
right?
possibility of facing his boss.
Yeah.
Admitting he had left his post during work hours, he might be fired.
Yeah, okay. I get why they begin the game again.
All of his co-workers were
Button
gone.
is in the game now.
What did it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply
There's a lot
missed
of
memo.
trial and error. Also, in some cases, just a lot of remembering what I already
Stanley
did.
came to a set of 2
I bet this
open
game is
doors.
very
This was
weird to
not the
play
correct way
in
to
one
the meeting
sitting.
room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Wow. Yes, this room. What a beauty. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first
I'm gonna
open
go
door
down the
on
little
his left.
elevator again. But I think
And
I
so
also
he
did this last
detoured
time.
through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door, and got back on track.
I think I like kind of remember this section.
But Stanley didn't want to go back to the office. He wanted to wander about and get even further off track.
Oh.
So now in order to get back, he needed to go,
Yeah, I remember this too. Yeah, I think we're gonna begin the game again. Wonder if there's an achievement for starting the game again many times.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had
Trying to
simply
remember how I
missed a
got to my
memo.
apartment. That was the other thing I was thinking about. That was so long ago now.
When Stanley came
I think
to
it
a
is
set
this
of
way
2
and then
open doors,
straight.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. The lounge was sublime, a
Oh, you
work
can
of
go up.
art. What was it about this room? But eager to get back to
Oh.
business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
There's some dialogue changing. Alright, we're here again.
Stanley
Haven't been
was
here
so
in a
bad
while.
at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
There's only one way, and it's this way. So I've gone that
Stanley,
way,
I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here.
which I don't
I'm not sure
fully
how to
remember.
really I realize
I like that you can
investing
jump
your
off.
trust in
Oh,
someone
wait a
else can be
second.
difficult, but the fact is
How do I get
the
there?
story has been about nothing but you all this time.
Wait, how do I get there, though?
There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about.
My wife.
Please, stop trying to make every decision by yourself. Now, I'm
Okay,
not
well, I have to
asking
get
for
there.
me, I'm asking for her.
Yeah, I don't know how to get there. We're gonna find out in a
This
second.
is it, Stanley. Your chance to redeem yourself.
This is the creepy
to put
apartment
your
ending,
work
right?
aside, to let her
It
back
is very
into your
creepy.
life. She's been waiting. That's her, Stanley.
I don't like this ending. Also, we've done it before. It terrifies me.
All of his co-workers
I think
were
it's
gone.
the one
What
time in
could
the
it
game I
mean?
got jump scared.
Stanley decided
The
to go to
mannequin
the
just
meeting
popping
room.
out of the
Perhaps
apartment.
he had simply missed a memo.
All right, well, now we have a very set goal. Get to that Stanley figurine.
When Stanley came to a set of
But it's
two
like
open
out of
doors,
vent.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Standing now in this incredible room, Stanley for the first time understood true
I think
happiness.
this is new dialogue.
Then the feeling went away, and he
Aw.
felt sad again. Then it came back, and lingered for a minute or two. Now it's only half there. Just a kind of, tingle.
Oh,
But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
unless... No.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years
So,
ago.
there. How do I get there? Right under me. Here? This seems... Oh, wait. Oh, baby. It's the platforming section. Wait, there's a thing there, right? There's also a thing there. This is the best day of my life.
You're getting close now, Stanley. You've nearly gotten all of the Figler anarines. Very soon, you'll collect the last one, and then the first number will equal the second number, and that will be it.
Love it.
We'll be different people by then. Different in the sense that we used to have none of them, and now we have them all. You can't go back to when you had no Figler
I do like the
anarines.
collectible
None of us
discourse,
can.
but I do also like collecting the collectibles, so... I would say the meta commentary is working as intended. Can I die? Let's find out.
But in his eagerness to prove that he is in control of the story and no one gets to tell him what to do, Stanley leapt from the platform and plunged to his death. Good job, Stanley. Everyone thinks you are very powerful.
Thank you.
Someone was following Stanley. He was sure of
Oh.
it. If he checked over his shoulder now, he would surely catch them. It was
Lies.
only a matter of time.
That's terrifying. It's probably not true, but it's terrifying.
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well.
That's a very...
Perhaps he wanted to stop by
The behind the
employee
shoulder thing is a
lounge
very
first,
funny
just
line of
to admire
dialogue.
it. Stanley felt lightheaded, butterflies in his
Oh.
stomach, giddy in a way he had never known before. Was it this room? A connection between the two? Could a man love a room? I mean, truly, truly, deeply, madly love.
Good song.
Yes, really, really worth it being here. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first.
The narrator
open
gets so
door on his
cranky
left.
when I do the same thing over and over again. And that fills me with joy.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he
All right.
wasn't fired years ago.
We're back. Ooh. Whee. Ooh. See? Persistence pays off.
Stanley had now gotten himself so far off the
Ooh.
beaten path that it seemed the office had begun. Was so far off the beaten path.
Oh, no.
That it seemed the office had begun. Was so far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun.
We broke
was
it.
so far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun. Was so far off the beaten path.
Looking for Stanley
that it
Reigns.
seemed the office had begun. Was so far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun. Was so far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun. Was so far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun. Was so far off the beaten path.
Oh, that's
that
cool.
It seemed the office had begun. Was so far off the beaten.
Got him.
You didn't think I was actually just a recording, did you?
No.
What a silly and trite explanation that would be. All the back and forth between you and me, all the absurd adventures we've been through, and it all turns out I'm just a tape recording? It was all just in Stanley's head. I bet that's the kind of twist you think is revelatory. I bet each and every time you watch a movie where it turns out all to be in the main character's imagination, you must absolutely bolt off the couch in pure shock at the phenomenal and intricate storytelling. It must be so simple
writing is
to
very
be
funny.
you. Life being an unending waterfall of surprises and delights. How much more exciting you must find the world than the rest of us do. Now I've become sad. Look what you've done to me. This is all your fault.
I don't feel bad for the narrator. In fact, I like actively annoying the narrator. What if I went back there? I'm going back there.
How long was I sitting there? Stanley wondered to himself.
Not very long.
Days?
What about the bucket?
Centuries? Did something crucial happen while my senses were turned? He made a note to be more careful with time from now on.
Never.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room.
We're going
and
back.
Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. The lounge was grand, majestic, perhaps too majestic.
So much dialogue for
like
this
a
room.
combination of a much smaller version and a much larger version of this exact room. It all made Stanley uncomfortable, and he started to bleed a little.
Wait, what?
This made him smile.
What?
At last, proof that he was human.
Stanley being a robot would have been a good twist.
But
Not gonna
eager
lie.
to get back to business, Stanley took
I wonder
the
how much
first
dialogue's in
open
that
door on
room.
his
Seems to be a
left.
lot.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he
Don't think we
wasn't
want to go
5
back over
years
there,
ago.
but it's been a while. Back here we go.
Stanley had now gotten himself so far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun.
This again. I don't think anything new happens.
You didn't think I was actually just a recording, did you? What a silly and trite explanation that would be. All the back and forth between you and me, all the absurd adventures we've been through, and it all turns out I'm just a tape recording? It was all just in Stanley's head. I bet that's the kind of twist you think is revelatory. I bet each and every time you watch a movie where it turns out all to be in the main character's imagination, you must absolutely bolt off the couch in pure shock at the phenomenal and intricate storytelling. It must be so simple to be you. Life being an unending waterfall of surprises and delights. How much more exciting you
We're
must
just
find
chilling.
the world than the rest of us do. Now I've become sad. Look what you've done to me. This
What
is
if I turn it
all
back
your
on?
fault.
Oh, nothing happens. Partition core. Good company.
All of his co-workers were
Okay,
gone.
what now?
What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Is that everything I can do going right? I guess I can guess.
When
I'll just
Stanley came to
go.
a set of 2 open doors,
I'll jump
this was
off the
not
thing and go
correct
to the
way
other
the
place
meeting
again.
room, and
Isn't that the,
Stanley
like,
knew it perfectly well.
the public
Perhaps he wanted
speaking
to stop
engagement
by
or
the
whatever?
employee lounge first,
I feel
just
like
to
I
admire
kind
it.
of remember what's going on.
And here it was, the lounge. What a room, Stanley thought to himself. What a room, what a room, what a room. This is what Stanley thought. What a room.
What a room.
What a room, what a room. What a room. Va-va-voom. What a room. But eager to get back to business,
Incredible.
Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Well, at least this way we're exhausting a bunch of trees. And we did actually find...
Stanley was so bad at following
something new.
directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years
I don't think
ago.
we're going back to the apartment thing, though. Genuinely too terrifying.
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot.
I don't know how to explain it.
I'm
It's
not
just
your
too
enemy,
spooky.
Really, I'm not.
And I'm
I
assuming
realize
it's
that
not different from the
investing
first time I
your
did
trust
it.
in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley.
No! Oh, nailed it.
Really? I was in the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration for others? Are you that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you?
Yes.
Why, I don't know how
You've
to
killed me
convince you of
many
this, but
times.
I really do want to help you, to show you
Or
something
maybe there's a
beautiful.
Stanley this way.
Look, let me prove it. Let me prove that I'm on your side. Give me a chance.
No buckets. Okay, well. We know what we're doing,
Now
don't we?
listen carefully, this is important.
Oh, I don't remember
Stanley
this.
walked through the red door. And there it is. The last Stiggly Wiggly.
Stiggly
Seriously,
Wiggly.
Stanley, this is a real accomplishment. This is doing something just for the sake of doing it. Where so many people expect to be rewarded for the most trivial achievements, you've insisted that a job well done is its own reward. I would tell you that I'm proud of you for collecting them all, but that would be like a reward, and we can't have that. So, instead I'll just say, it's done. We're all done here. And now we can go to whatever the hell you were doing before you hunted for figurines.
I'm sad there are no more left. Did you say red door? I think I did the opposite last time, so we'll do the right thing this time.
You are willing to listen to me. Do you see that I really have wanted you to be happy all this time?
And then next time we're bringing the bucket.
Is all these
Oh no, it's a circle.
The two of us always trying to get somewhere that isn't here.
No.
Running and running and running, just the way you're doing right now. Don't you see that it's killing us, Stanley? I wanted to stop. We would both be so much happier if we just stopped. And I think I have a solution. Here, let me show you.
Okay. Ooh.
What do we want?
Oh, this is
What are
cool.
we looking for? Here. Yes. Oh, it's
Just holding W.
beautiful, isn't it? If we just stay right here, right in this moment with this place, Stanley, I think I feel happy. I actually feel happy.
This is fun. Nice little meditative moment. Reminds you of Tetris Connect. We leave? Who knows? Again, the game uses music so sparingly that every time it does, it's quite nice. I think all the music in the game, even when it's just been for like the new age music joke, has been really nice. This is it. This is the game. Just stand around, do nothing. Which, I mean, kind of. The game is a combination of hold W and walk forward infinitely, and stand in one spot and do nothing. I think eventually we'll have to leave, but it's very pleasant for now. I'm so curious how long this sequence is. But I think I'll wait it out. Although it would be very much in the spirit of the game for nothing to happen. But I feel like if I leave, the narrator's going to be like, why'd you leave? And to be honest, I'm just enjoying. It's very chill. I am definitely trying to walk off the platform. Okay, I think we're done. There might be more.
No.
Oh, this is different,
wait.
right?
Where are you going?
I'll come back.
Right.
Oh, interesting. It triggers more dialogue. Oh. I assume nothing happens if I wait here. And that's kind of the point. But maybe something happens. I feel like this is the game's like thing. It's like, if you do something, stuff will happen. But also, if you do nothing, stuff will happen. So in some ways, well, something always happens, which is nice. But I don't know, it's just so interesting. It's like I really want to explore everything the game has to offer and try and find as many different endings and pieces of dialogue and things, but like the game doesn't want me to do that, and yet presents all these scenarios where I can do exactly that. It's very interesting. It's like constructed in a way that there's a lot of stuff for you to do, and it does want you to do those things, but the tone of the game actively tells you it doesn't want to do those things. Anyway, I'm leaving again. Maybe something happens, maybe not, but... Oh, where's this?
Oh no, stay away from those stairs.
Never.
If you hurt yourself, if you die, the game will reset. We'll lose all of this.
Okay.
Please, no, Stanley, let me stay here. Don't take this from me.
Oh.
Please, Stanley, think about what you're doing.
This is hilarious. Sorry, narrator. You lose this time.
No! Oh, thank God.
Oh my God, I'm so slow.
You have me worried. No. No, what are you doing, Stanley? Please, I'm asking you not to take this away from me. I can't go back to what I was before. If you die, we'll both go back. Why are you doing this?
I don't like you, is why, Mr. Narrator. Also, this is very dark.
Stanley, let's go back to the other room. Can you do that for me?
Sure.
Yes.
What if I didn't?
Perhaps you can. Perhaps you finally see what I'm talking about. I know you'll see.
Then what if I go
see that we
back?
can't be happy if we leave this place. You can see that, can't you?
I'm happy exploring. I'm genuinely convinced there's nothing here. I think the game just wants you to sit there for as long as possible. It's like a social experiment.
No, perhaps not.
You just close this door if you want me to do this. I'm so slow. Am I going to be even slower after this next fall? Well, there's no Stanley anymore.
My God, is this really how much you dislike my game?
No, I like your
You'll
game.
throw yourself from this platform over and over to be rid of it? You are literally willing to kill yourself to keep me from being happy.
I just want to see what else you're doing.
Correctly?
Oh my God. What's guilt tripping? I don't think I
Maybe
can
you're
die,
just
by the way.
getting a kick out of it. I don't know.
I think I have to
anymore.
reset.
I just wanted us to get along. But I guess
I don't
that
think
was
you
too
wanted
much
us to get along at all.
It
I think
looks
you're
like
very
you wanted
hostile.
to make a choice after all. Well, this one is yours.
So sad. This is very dark.
Is
Okay.
it over? It's going to restart, isn't it? I'm going back.
Bye-bye. We can go again. It's okay. But I'll bring the bucket this time. Oh. Oh.
Stanley, I'm sorry, but I have to put a pause
Oh,
on things. It's
cranky.
just, it's those figurines.
What do you mean?
Those Figleys.
I love the
I
Figleys.
haven't stopped thinking about them since you nabbed every last one.
Make more.
Wasn't it just the most intrinsically fulfilling moment of your entire life?
Unironically,
Didn't it
yes.
fill you to the brim with inner richness?
Which is why I think it's funny the game is
Yes, I
clearly
know we're supposed to be telling the story, but won't you
commenting
please
on it.
indulge me with
Because
one more trip back to the memories of-
really do
I
enjoy
would love nothing more than to
collecting all the
revisit
figurines.
Just one more time.
Alright. I wonder if there's anything different after... I wonder if there's anything different after the, like the falling ending, normally. Where are the figurines? One knows.
Here's where it all began. The first collectible. Back then, we had
Oh,
no idea
yeah.
how many of them we'd find. Sure, it said 6 right there on the screen, but how could we know for certain?
Wait, is
We
it
were
the
so
thing over there?
innocent. We'll never be like that
Oh, that's
again,
cool. I didn't know this was
Stanley.
here. Ooh. A secret area.
And here was the second Stanley.
Oh, never mind.
You
It's a memory
found
zone.
this one all on your own just by poking around behind the boss's office. You did that, Stanley.
Yes.
I'll be honest. Back then, I had
No,
no
I
faith
missed
in
one.
you to find any of them.
No.
Let alone 6. But you continue to surprise
No,
me
I
in all
missed
sorts
one.
of mundane, unremarkable ways.
My achievements.
Okay, let's do a little quiz. Which of these rooms was the room
Pretty
you
sure it
found
was
your
the
third mini stand? Can you
bathroom.
remember?
Pretty sure it was the bathroom. I don't think the game knows or cares.
Hey, that's exactly right. It was here in the boss's bathroom. It was the third one. You picked it up, and then after that, you had 3 of them. I'm glad these moments are so crystal clear in your memory, but I shouldn't be surprised. After all, science tells us that it's impossible to forget your third time doing
I'm so
anything.
curious if that's a true, not the science thing. Yeah, I'm curious if that's actually true,
Let's
and if
see.
you pick the
What
wrong
came
one, what
next?
happens?
Oh yes, we found a Figley in this pink room.
What? I've
Oh,
never
well,
been in
I
this
can't
room.
actually say I remember
Give me
being
the
in this
Figley.
room, but it's here in the memory zone, so it must have happened.
I love the Figleys. This is the thing. The game is trying to make some commentary on collecting figurines, and I just enjoy it so much. Ooh, what's this? Oop. Oh, I'm floating.
This was the 5th mini stand, and this one was really
This one
something
was special, I
It was
agree.
in the warehouse. I remember it so
So many
clearly.
Figleys.
In fact, because this one is particularly special to me, I made a little video to commemorate
Ooh.
the occasion. Enjoy.
Oh my god, this looks so funny. It's actually a PowerPoint presentation. Incredible. This is Windows Movie Maker at its best. Wow, the quality is terrible. Making it look this purposely bad is very skillful. Oh my god. They might have actually used Windows Movie Maker. This game really takes itself very seriously.
Takes you back, doesn't it? I spent a lot of time making that video.
Did
but
you?
It
I'm
was
sorry.
8 minutes I wouldn't have spent on anything else.
I wonder what game influences.
And then, Stanley, then we came to the last collectible, the final figurine, right here by the
I
red and
missed
blue
one. I
doors.
can't believe I missed it.
This memory is the most distinct and clear in my mind, perhaps because it was the one that happened more recently than all the others.
I wonder if you get them in
Who
a
can
different
truly
order.
say how the
If
mind
it shows you
works?
different.
All I know is that this is the moment where you picked up a Figley and I thought to myself, yes, that's all of them. They're all collected. It was a moment.
Can you keep getting them
unlike
if you
any
replay this
other.
area? I guess you can't
Except
replay
for
it,
the
right?
other moments picking up figurines, which it was exactly like.
Oh, it's the same. Ooh.
And then there was no more, because we've caught up to the present moment. Nothing left to do but move onward into the future. Goodbye, memory zone.
Goodbye. That was fun.
No,
Oh, never
I'm
mind.
not done. I'm not ready to move on.
Same.
Stop the loading screen. Isn't there some way
Went
we can
backwards,
stay
that's
here
amazing.
enjoying these figurines? Let's just go backwards. We'll do the memory zone again from the opposite
Oh,
direction.
hell yeah, more
See how that
Figleys.
feels.
I like that. That's one of the better ideas you've had in a while, Mr. Narrator.
Okay, yes, the room with the red and blue doors.
Oh, yes.
I remember this. I must say, of all the figurines we looked at in our initial tour of the memory zone, this one is the most distinct and clear in my mind. Let's keep going. I want more.
Can I fall off
And
here?
here's where I made that video.
No,
Don't you
okay.
remember the video we watched?
That makes sense. Oh my god, it's happening again.
Yes, I love that video.
Then the mysterious pink room. But any
Still don't
chance to get a
remember the
Figley is good.
Stanley. Still no memory of this one. Good room though. A solid room.
Solid room. Kinda true though.
These really were a treat to hunt down. You know, if there had been any kind of reward for finding all of these, it really would have muted the intrinsic joy of collecting them. I'm very glad we resisted the temptation.
Kind of agree, I guess. I think you should just enjoy collecting the collectibles. I mean, this game obviously presented the collectibles as just a thing to collect. Often games present collectibles as things that, like, do something.
I remember it too. The past is truly a wonderful
Like if you collect
thing.
100
Why
Korok
does
seeds in
anyone
Breath of the
ever choose
Wild,
to
like,
leave it?
they do something
Keep
because you can
going.
buy things with them.
This is it. The very first one we found in the exhibit where I introduced you to the Figlerines. Oh, I want more memories, Stanley.
Let's go.
I want to keep going.
Back to the Future
What
we
else
go,
is there?
narrator.
What came before this?
Oh yeah. Oh, the jump circle. Let's go. Can we jump again?
Look, it's the terrible new content that we were originally sold on. I remember hating it back then. But time does put a rosy filter on everything. In fact, I dare say I'm actually... Oh, yes! The two doors! Who could have forgotten that?
I don't remember how to
Classic
get to
memory,
the
this one.
exhibit, but it was a good time. Looks to be the same again. It's the office. This is.
And before everything else, there was your office.
That's fun. Play the game backwards.
Is there anything else? Was there something that came before your office?
Maybe.
There's
The
something
loading
I
screen.
feel I can remember. I can remember.
Is
I
this
can
gonna quit the game?
remember.
That'd be a cool. That'd be a cool meta
Yes,
thing to do.
I'm remembering something
Oh,
now.
what's not
I
helpful?
remember before this whole story got started. Back then I was...
I can't move. It's a
I was
cutscene.
different. I used to make big decisions. I was passionate. I was skeptical. I weighed each decision with profound thoughtfulness. And then somewhere along the way, I
Oh, boy.
stopped making decisions. I became lazy. And I came up with a character named Stanley to do my thinking for me. He would make the decisions. He would decide which way to go. I would cheer him on as he collected figurines for no reason. How did I invent Stanley? Was I lonely?
Again, the
Yes,
music
that's
is so
it.
good.
Perhaps I needed to imagine I had companionship. And Stanley really did make for a wonderful companion, even if he was a fiction. But I suppose it's grown old. I want to think for myself again. I want to go back to how it used to be. Yes, I can
All
be
right,
on
bye.
my own again. I can
Guess
do
we're
it.
done.
I'll be stronger this time. I'll take care of myself. I don't need Stanley anymore. Oh, but he truly was so much fun
This is
to
zooming
play
back
with.
in.
You know what? Since we're in the memory zone, how about one more good memory? Let's go back just once and give Stanley one more run of the office, and then I'll retire him for good.
Oh, that's
I
fascinating.
enjoyed telling his story so very much. Okay, here we go. This is the story.
I'm so
of a man
curious
named
about
Stanley.
how much content was in the original game. Should I just... Should I play for the original ending?
Already this was uncomfortable, and Stanley decided that as soon as he found a new space he felt safe in, that he would never leave it again in his life.
I don't think that's true. I'll take the bucket.
Stanley lifted the bucket into his arms, and a wave of comfort rushed over him. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered
I
the
kind of
door.
want
This
to...
was not the correct way to the meeting room.
Well, okay.
But Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge
I was gonna
was
do
simply the
this...
place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct?
I was gonna do this
better
later,
than the
but
meeting room?
I guess I'm gonna do it
Yes,
now.
Stanley thought to himself. Yes, perhaps it truly was. How insightful the bucket turned out to be.
I'm gonna
No,
take the bucket
never
to the
mind.
place
The bucket was
where it told me
wrong.
not to take the bucket.
Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the
Because
meeting
if you
room.
tell me not to do something in the game, I'm definitely gonna do it.
said the bucket. Don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift, yes. Good, said the bucket. Now ride the lift all the way to the top. There's something up there I need you to do.
Oh, no.
Stanley did not question why or how this bucket was speaking to him.
Oh, I did.
It should have alarmed him, of course, because buckets can't talk. But Stanley chose not to think about this obvious fact. He was firmly convinced that the bucket had spoken to him, and he unthinkingly did whatever the bucket asked.
Except, of course, this.
No, stop. Look there on the wall. You see, there's a sign right there. It says,
Tee-hee.
no buckets past this point. Stanley, how could you think it was okay to bring the bucket here?
Because...
What if the problem is that you actually don't know what is a bucket and what isn't a bucket? I suppose that would explain a lot about your behavior up to this point. Which, if that's true, well, my goodness, I think we have to do something about it. This misunderstanding could have dire consequences on the entire rest of the game if not addressed quickly and
I
properly.
almost want to watch
So much of the impact
like
of the
videos
story
of people
is
playing the
dependent
original
on
game
your
to see what's
understanding
different.
of what is and isn't a bucket. Please, step in here for a moment.
Step in where? Oh, here. Oh my god, incredible.
Now then, I'm going to run you through some test scenarios, and you'll tell me whether or not the thing I'm showing you is a bucket. Simple enough, right? This should tell us everything we'll ever need to know about what is or is not a bucket. Okay, let's begin.
Can't move it. Full game oh, I see. I pressed the thing.
Is this a bucket?
We're gonna have to do this twice at some point.
Incorrect. It is a hologram of
What?
a bucket,
Lies.
not an actual bucket.
That's pretty funny.
Item 2. Is this a bucket? Correct. It is a 3D printed recreation
Interesting.
of a bucket, not an actual bucket. Item 3. Is this a bucket? Correct. This is a bucket.
This is hard.
Item 4. Is this a
I mean,
Are you hallucinating? This is a tractor.
Could be a
It's
bucket.
an enormous machine that tills the earth. I thought this was a gimmick. How on earth did you manage to screw it up? Absolutely incredible. Let's just move on to the next one.
there's so much stuff happening in this episode.
Is this a bucket? Incorrect. This is a bucket.
I like that there's no explanation. It just is a bucket.
Item 6. Is this a bucket? Trick question. Both. Gotcha.
What?
Item... Wait, hold on. I can't find the next one. Let me see. It should be around here somewhere. Okay, you and I both know there isn't anything here. And I don't appreciate the implication that nothing is a bucket when we both clearly know that a bucket is something, and therefore nothing could possibly be something. Unless, in your twisted mind, have you somehow convinced yourself that a bucket is nothing? Answer me straight, Stanley. Do you believe that nothing is a bucket? You know what? I'm too confused to even sort it out.
That's fair.
I've lost all sense of perspective. What is a bucket? What isn't a bucket? Mere moments
Guess
ago,
this
I
answer
could answer
doesn't
these
matter for
questions
this
with
trigger.
confidence. And yet now I'm somewhat adrift.
That's my guess
Do
anyway.
any of us know what a bucket is? Am I a bucket?
You are a bucket.
Stanley,
Oh my god, I
can't
get to say
keep
yes.
doing this. I'm losing myself, and myself was all I ever had to begin with.
Wait, didn't do anything.
I'm
when I
afraid the
pressed
bucket
it.
is threatening to tear our relationship apart.
Do not
I
take
can't
away my
have that.
bucket.
I'm sorry, but I'm going to erase
No!
all buckets from the game entirely.
Terrible.
Here we go. What happened? Is everything gone? Why did everything disappear? Wait, was everything a bucket? Every
Everything
single
is a
thing in
bucket.
the game was a bucket. Oh my God, I had no idea. How could... except me. I'm not a bucket after all.
I guess
And
I'm
you,
not a bucket
Stanley,
either.
you're still here. You're not a bucket either. Oh, this is wonderful news. We're not buckets. Yes, I actually feel much more at ease right now. It's delightful to get some clarity on that issue.
I wonder if
but it doesn't change
ending the
fact
game again
that we haven't got a game.
triggers the...
So, tell you what. I'll reset everything and we'll put back all of the buckets, okay? And we'll know that it's all a
Hang on, I'm
bucket.
trying to figure out what
But
I
if you
did.
run into anyone else, maybe
Get to
don't
that point
mention
where
that.
the game was reset.
Who knows what that information might do to a person?
I do want
Alright,
to trigger the
here we
ending
go.
again. We'll see if I can do that. But that means I can't bring the bucket with me. Right?
All of his co-workers
Yeah,
were
okay. I
gone.
think I have to do it
What
again.
could it
But I think I
mean?
can do it again.
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room.
You.
Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Alright, let me do this quickly again.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting
It's so
room,
interesting
and
that there's...
Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop
There's
by the employee
different
lounge
endings.
first,
I
just
assume
to
there's
admire
different
it.
endings in the game based on triggering
It was
other
okay.
events. It was okay.
But eager to get back to business,
Do I have to go to the
Stanley
red
took
door
the
this
first
time?
open door on his left.
At one point I'll do the blue door. That might have been the path that
Stanley was
ended
so
up
bad at following directions, it's
going to the
incredible it
Rocket
wasn't
League map
5
or
years
whatever.
ago. Look, Stanley,
At this point I
perhaps
might have
we've
to
gotten
rewatch
off on
old
the wrong
episodes to
foot
figure out what I've
here.
done.
I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you forgot. What? Really?
Got him.
I was in the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration for others? Are you that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you? Why, I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you.
What if I bring
to
the
show
buckets
you
there
something
again?
beautiful. Look, let me prove it. Let me prove that I'm on your side. Give me a chance. Now listen carefully, this is important. Stanley walked through the red door.
They do look the same.
Oh, thank God you are willing to listen to me. Do you see that I really have wanted you to be happy all this time?
Oh, is it this ending?
The problem is all these choices. The two of us always trying to get somewhere that isn't here. Running and running and running, just the way you're doing right
What happens
now.
if I reset the
Don't you see that
game?
it's killing us, Stanley?
At that point, I wonder.
I wanted to stop.
Yeah, I think this was what we did.
We would both be so much
We'll find
happier
out.
if we just stopped. And I think I have a solution. Here, let me show you.
Wait, didn't I have to go through the memory zone? Oh, I did have to go through the memory zone to do that. Does that mean I can't trigger that ending?
What do we want? What are we looking for? Here. Yes.
Oh, interesting.
Oh, it's beautiful,
Yeah.
isn't it? If we just stay right here, right in this... No, wait.
I'm just going to reset the game. I actually don't think I can get back to the other ending.
All of his co-workers were gone.
Interesting.
What could it mean? Stanley decided to go
Alright,
to
let's
the
go to the
meeting
blue
room.
door now.
Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Or...
The confusion and the
bucket.
chaos all seemed to melt away as Stanley embraced the bucket.
I assume the bucket ending...
Stanley clutched the bucket
Sorry,
tightly to
that
his
bucket
chest.
ending.
This
There's
was
somehow
not
more than
the
one
way to the
bucket
meeting room.
ending.
But Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge
I
was
think-
simply the place to be.
I'm assuming this upcoming bucket
And here
ending
it was. Had the bucket
isn't
turned out to be
triggerable again, but we'll
correct?
find
Was
out.
it? No, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
No,
Said the bucket.
don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift, yes. Good.
Said the bucket.
Now ride the lift all the way to the top. There's something
they're
up there I
balloons.
need you to do.
Trying to figure out what they
Stanley
were.
did not question why or how this bucket was speaking to him. It should have alarmed him, of course, because buckets can't talk. But Stanley chose not to think about this obvious fact. He was firmly convinced that the bucket had spoken to him.
I'm trying to,
and
like,
he
do this late.
unthinkingly did whatever the bucket asked.
Ooh. Almost missed it. I guess you don't get the same interrupt piece of dialogue. When you have the bucket, I was trying to interrupt at a later point in
No,
the dialogue.
stop. Look there on the wall. You see, there's a sign right there. It says, "No buckets past this point." Stanley, how could you...
Okay, looks like it's the same.
Already this was uncomfortable, and Stanley decided that as soon as he found a new space,
Oh,
he
this
felt
is
safe
that
in,
ending.
that he would never leave it again.
Okay, I'm gonna
in
go
his
jump off the
life.
cargo lift and see if anything different happens. Because that's the same piece of dialogue after the memory zone bit.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors,
And I think this is
was
the
not
quickest way to
correct
end the
way to
game.
meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. It was okay.
I think I finally
Eager
heard my
to get
first
back to
repeat
business, Stanley took the
bit
first
of
open door on his left.
employee lounge dialogue. Maybe the bucket had another piece of dialogue I've heard already,
Stanley was
but
so bad at following directions, it's incredible he
Oh, I
wasn't
wish I could
5
jump.
years ago.
bye-bye.
But in his eagerness to prove that he is in control of the story and no one gets to tell him what to do, Stanley leapt from the platform and plunged to his death. Good job, Stanley. Everyone thinks you are very
I don't think this is going to
powerful.
give me a different ending. Oh, but it did though.
All of his co-workers were
Big
gone.
pog.
What could it mean?
Whoa, it's all
Stanley
wild.
decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed when
What?
Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors.
What
He
is
entered the
going
door
on?
on his left.
Why is it different? Wait, this is the same. What?
Yet there was not a single person here. either.
Oh.
Feeling a wave of disbelief,
Oh, maybe this is because
Stanley
I've collected
decided
all
to
the
go up to
figurines.
his
This
boss's
room
office,
reset.
hoping he might find an answer there. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked
Man.
upstairs to his boss's office.
Yeah. I don't think so. Is the game... I'm curious if... Okay. Is this permanent?
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
Why is
Stanley
this
decided
different?
to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed
Guess I'll
the
go
memo.
right again.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop
wonder
by
why
the
it's
employee lounge
different.
first, just to admire it. It was okay.
And now I don't know what to do.
But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's
Maybe ending the
incredible he
game
wasn't
again
5
here
years
does
ago.
something. Can you fall off this section? I think you can. Oh, yeah.
But in his
That was
eagerness
actually an
to prove
accident.
that he is in control
Also,
of the
I think I did
story
that already
and no one gets to
in
tell
this
him what to
episode.
do. Stanley leapt from the platform.
Okay,
and
I think we
plunged to
might
his death.
done for
Good
an
job,
episode.
Stanley. Everyone thinks
Well,
you are very powerful.
Go through the blue door. Why is this different? Don't understand.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the
I'm
meeting
so
room. When
curious.
Stanley came to a set of 2
That's right.
open doors, he entered
Yes.
the door on it. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well.
All right, I think this is the
Perhaps
last
he
thing we're
wanted
going
to
to do this
stop by
video.
the employee lounge first, just to
We'll go
admire
through
it.
the blue door and see if anything
was
changes.
okay. But eager to get
It's going to be
back to
sad
business,
if
Stanley took
that's the only
first
time we can
open
go through
door
the
on his
memory zone
left.
and potentially trigger that ending, but I honestly have no idea.
Stanley was
There's
so bad at following
seemingly
directions,
an
it's
infinite number of
incredible he
things you
wasn't
can do in
5
this game.
years ago.
Which is really cool.
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you forgot. Really?
So I could have tried to
was in the
interrupt
middle
that
of
later,
something.
but
Do you
eh.
have zero consideration
I
for
don't want to
others?
miss.
Are you that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you? Why, I don't know how to convince you of this, but I
Oh.
really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful. Look, let me prove it. Let me prove that I'm on your side. Give me a chance. Now listen carefully, this is important. Stanley walked through the red door. Aha, perhaps you misunderstood.
Oh, I do kind of remember
Stanley
this.
walked through the red door. I still don't think we're communicating
Oh, yeah.
properly. Stanley, oh, thank God you are willing to listen to me. Do you see that I really have wanted you
Just
to be
do the
happy
same
all
thing.
this time? The problem is all these choices. The two of us always trying to get somewhere that isn't here. Running and
Interesting.
running and running, just the way
I
you're
do
doing
temporarily
right now.
remember this
Don't
section.
you see that it's killing
I
us,
think it's
Stanley?
led somewhere different.
I wanted to stop. We would both be so much happier if we just stopped. And I think I have a solution. Here, let me show you. What do we want? What are we looking for?
I feel like I didn't see this last time.
Oh, it's beautiful,
I could be wrong.
isn't it? If we just stay right here, right in this
Do you think if I
moment with
stand here
this
for 20
place,
minutes, something will happen?
Stanley, I think I feel happy. I actually feel happy.
Alright, well, enough of this.
No, wait. Where are you
I
going?
swear this didn't happen last time I did this, but maybe it did.
Oh no. Stay away from those
I'm
stairs.
doing this again,
if
I
you
guess.
hurt yourself, if you die, the game will reset. We'll lose all of this. Please, no, Stanley, let me stay here. Don't take this from me. Please, Stanley. No! Oh, thank God. No. No, what are you doing, Stanley? Please, I'm asking you not to take this away from me. I can't go back to what I was before. If you die, we'll both go back. Why are you doing this?
Reminds me of the James Bond dam
Stanley,
jump.
let's go back to the other room. Can you do that? My God.
I already did
Is
that.
this really how much you dislike my game?
Oh, I've explained this. I
You'll
like the
throw
game a lot.
yourself from this platform over and over to be rid of it?
I
You're
just like
literally
seeing what else will
willing to
happen.
kill yourself to keep me from being happy. Am I reading the situation correctly?
I would say no. Personally.
Or maybe you're just getting a kick out of it. I don't know anymore. I just wanted us to get along. But I guess that was too much
I wonder
to
how many
ask.
players get this ending.
It looks
Although
like
I
you
don't know how to
wanted
get
make a
out other than
choice
restarting the
after all.
game. So I don't
Well,
think the
this
other
one was
room
yours.
has an ending trigger. But maybe I'm wrong. Yeah.
Is it over?
I like the sideways thing. I don't remember what.
I'm going back.
It's like old school games where like the died in like a shooter, just sideways. All right, well, that was a lot of Stanley Parable. We did a lot. I think there's still a little bit more to do, but I think we at least exhausted some of the things in that side. Clearly, a little bit more we could potentially explore, but as always, a ton of fun. And most of all, happy we finally collected all the Stanlerines. As always, if you got this far, consider liking, commenting, or subscribing on the video or to the channel. And if nothing else, thanks for hanging out.